Hi, good day, everyone. This is Rita Choi, founder of Asia HRM. Asia HRM is a human resources community focusing on coaching and leadership. We help companies build high-performing teams. We are also an advocate for coaching. We have a coaching platform called Coaching Engage Plus, connecting qualified coaches with their potential clients. We also have an AI augmented coaching platform. If you wanted to know more about coaching and also learning more about us, just let us know. As a continuation of the HR Leaders series, this time we have invited a speaker who works in the travel tech industry and understand that they have a lot of innovative measures for their employees, Gen Z working there. And the topic for today is how to lead the walk wonder generation. I'm sure that Gen Z is something that has become a heated topic because according to my survey with some of the companies, they think that, wow, it's a challenge to deal with Gen Z. And we are so glad that we have speakers who are going to share with us their best practices in dealing with Gen Zs. And I would love to give a brief introduction of this speaker. This is Cary Shek, who is the Vice President, People and Culture at Klook. Cary is an accomplished HR leader with some 20 years of experience. Most recently, she was awarded as one of the most influential HR leaders in Asia, recognizing Cary for her leadership, innovation, and industry contributions. As the VP of People and Safety and part of the leadership team at Klook, she is a trusted advisor on organizational and people matters across over 20 locations globally. The People and Culture team under her charge has also been named among innovative HR teams, which are breaking boundaries to move the HR industry forward by HRD Asia in 2022, 23, and 23. On top of that, Klook is recognized as Asia's top employer 2023 and 2024 by influential brands. Before that, she worked for Publicis Group in Hong Kong and also a few global organizations across technology, media, and professional services industries. Without further ado, I would love to introduce Cary to the stage. And for all of you, welcome to the session today. And just say hello to us, and we'll say hello back to you. So, Cary, the floor is yours. Thank you, Cary.
Thank you, Rita. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
I assume so. Okay, sound check. Okay, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, welcome everyone. So we are here to talk about a clash that every leader is feeling right now. You know, the traditional 9-to-5 model versus the modern travel tech landscape. Recent survey findings on multi-generational dynamics often highlight frictions. Managers feeling that Gen Z is disruptive or demanding. But at Klook, we realize something crucial. If we are building product for our travelers, our people needs to be travelers. We need to understand what is our consumer is looking for. We can't just build the future of travel with a team that stuck in the past. So therefore, we will going to share about how we stop fighting this shift and started using it as our competitive advantage. Maybe we can move to the next slide. Thank you. So let's address the elephant in the room, like Gen Z's reputation as disruptor. Our internal data and also broader surveys suggest that multi-generational teams struggle with the pace of change. But in tech, speed is oxygen. Change is the only constant. So instead of viewing their demand for transparency and speed as a headache, we view it as fuel. When a Gen Z employee asks, why do we do it this way? They aren't being difficult. They are actually identifying inefficiency. We leverage this disruption to drive product innovation. We tell our leaders, don't silence the disruption, channel it. If they want things faster, give them the autonomy to build it faster. We are actually also leverage this philosophy to apply into a lot of AI development as well. Because we understand they are digital native, they keep up with the trend, they're curious, they're hungry about all this new technology. So we are basically building on their strength to help the company innovate faster. Maybe I will take a pause here and see, Rita, if you have any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Cary. I loved your saying that speed is oxygen, change is constant. Wow, very nice, description for describing speed and change. So I have a question about Gen Z. Of course, it's all about Gen Z, right? If Gen Z sees work as a lifestyle rather than a place, what is the single biggest change leaders must make in how they manage people?
Thank you. Yeah, I think it is a very good question. To be honest, I think the biggest change is a mindset shift. How we shift from mandatory attendance to intentional collaboration. We need to define like why we come together. We don't bring people in to the office just to fill seats or for us to watching them, right? We actually bring people together for speed and also mentorship. Gen Z values a lot in terms of growth and connections. If they of web problem solving. So the leadership shift is this, like make the office days count. When we are in, we collaborate, we brainstorm, we make decisions fast. Then we use the flexible work from home day to decompress or to do deep work. So it's all about balancing the lifestyle need in terms of flexibility and also with the career need for connections. So long story short is about how we stop managing attendance but start managing impact.
Wow, stop attending attendance and how to manage impact. Wow, very powerful statement. Okay, very nice. So yeah. So shall we move on to another slide, Cary?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Here we are also talking about the slash or gig economy. Because the old model asks us to be one thing, one single role, an employee. But the new model acknowledge that about the slash identity. I'm sure a lot of you may come across that, like for the new generation, they don't just see like the entire of their life need to spend in one single career, but they enjoy the variety. So our people are employees, travelers, creators. We embrace this nomad mindset like through our policy like Workcation. Why? Because when our employee travels, they pressure test our own product and they create content, they become our best brand and ambassador. And we are also leveraging when they go travel, right? We are also encourage them to film the experience so that they can post on their social media, and that is actually create a lot of interesting marketing material for us that help to promote our brand. And when we find that if we by supporting their lifestyle rather than restricting it, we don't lose the productivity. Actually, we gain loyalty. We are proving that you can attract top tier talents simply by letting them who they are.
So, Cary, can you now, on your slide, right? I can see the global mobility work vocation, and trust first. Are these the core values of your company?
Yes.
Okay. Can you just
actually
sorry, there is a delay in our conversation because of the internet issue. Yeah, Cary, will you carry on?
Yes. Actually, I won't say like global mobility, vocation, trust first is like the core values, but I think it's some way that we exemplify our core values, as in like how we embrace the growth of our employee, how we support their development at Klook. So we leverage different initiatives to exemplify it. Yeah. Sorry, it's a bit delay between our conversation. I hope the audience find it okay.
Yeah. So what you mentioned right earlier about employee equals traveler and also creator. So what does employee equals traveler equals creator look like in real business practice, but not just a concept?
Yeah, sure. In practice, to be honest, it means that we are burying the lines between their role and our product. At Klook, like we have a program called Workcation. I just briefly mentioned. What is that about? Actually, it's like employee can work remotely from any Klook offices worldwide for a month, like for 30 days without using the annual leave. So when a cooker goes on a vacation, like they aren't just like logging in from a different place. They actually build true connections with other cookers. We call our people as cookers. So because they actually have a lot of day-to-day interactions with cookers in other locations, but not many times they can see face-to-face. So our cookers really make use of the vacation to really truly to build the connections with other cookers. Sometimes we half joking as like, oh, they're meeting up their net friends. And at the same time, like not just the work part, they are also using Klook app to book experiences. So they are testing the user journey in real time. If they find any bugs or friction point in the app, they flag it immediately to the product team. So that is the purpose of having Workcation, that we provide subsidy to our colleagues that they can enjoy our product and services firsthand, give us feedback, help our product to make it better, and at the same time building the bonding with other locations. Simultaneously, they are also creators. So we encourage them to film their experiences and share them on social media. So it is a very authentic way to show our employer branding that you simply cannot buy. So the business practice is really about turning every trip into user testing sessions as well as marketing opportunity. Unfortunately, today there are some technical issues that we can't show the videos as I want to share here. But feel free to go to our Instagram account, like Live at Klook. That actually we have a lot of like content from our colleague to talk about vacation, to talk about like what is day-to-day life look like at Klook.
Wow, very nice. As you know, right, the biggest promoter of a company are the employees. Basically, your employees just share their happy memories on their social media. I think they are the biggest advocate or the promoter of Klook. Very nice idea. Very nice idea. Okay, I do have another question, Cary. Trust first sounds inspiring, right? But risky. What control or guardrails are actually needed to make it work?
Yeah. I think the ultimate guardrails is really about treating people like adults. So you're right, like trust without clarity can sometimes become quite chaotic. So we don't necessarily need tracking tools or rigid hours to fix that. But our control is actually very simple. It's like clear output goals and constant feedback. We do believe feedback is a powerful tool. If everyone knows exactly what success looks like, what needs to be delivered, by when, you don't need to monitor them, how they're going to do it, where they do it. We treat our workforce as mature adults. So if you're a high performer, you communicate. If you are going to be offline for a flight, you tell your team. For example, my best practice is like I always display my whereabouts on the instant messenger, like Slack, so people knows like, and at the same time, if you are stuck, you ask for help. So the risk disappear when you have a culture of this kind of radical transparency and ongoing communications. So if the work is getting done and then the team is aligned, that's the only matrix that matters.
Wow. Transparency and also constant feedback. Wow. I'm sure that your employee will love them. Especially you call your employees lookers, right? Cary, lookers. I'm sure lookers will like it. Cookers. Okay. Cookers will love it. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, Cary.
Yeah, sure. Finally, we can take a look of the skills gap and retentions. So Gen Z actually fears stagnation more than fear instability. So, a very conventional way about, oh, let's wait for 2 to 3 years for a promotion actually is a retention killer. So at Klook, we replace the ladder with the letters. So we don't see career that will only progress in one direction, which is vertical. This means that you don't need to quit the team to learn a new skills. You can take on, a side project in another department. You can move sideways in order to move forward. So it also helps to solve our skills gap internally because we are constantly upskilling our people through different kind of like cross-functional projects. So it helps to keep the work fresh and also keep our talent in-house.
Okay, so Cary, you mentioned that besides going vertically, right? If in terms of the progression, they can also take side projects so that they can grow horizontally. And you also mentioned about
Yes.
retention. How does the retention rate of Klook as compared to other travel tech in competitors?
Yeah, I think like to be honest, we have quite a healthy retention rate, and particularly with our hypo, we do check, apart from how what is their tenure like to be kept in the company. We also check like how fast they grow. We have a lot of data backup that like actually for our high performers, their average like promotions. I mean like the time needed for a promotion is actually like can be quite fast. I'm saying about less than 2 years time for average time that they need in order to get promoted to the next role. So I think it's really exemplify our philosophy in terms of talent development, that we don't see career in one direction, but actually we see we are trying to look at the skills that they have, the strength they have. And a lot of the time, to be honest, we will co-create roles because of on the basis of the individual talents. Because our business, as mentioned, the changes is just like happening so frequent and so fast. So there is a lot of different business opportunity evolve throughout the year. So we are actually also eyeing on our talents. What are their strengths? What are the areas that can really help them to unleash their potential, can maximize their strength, and then at the same time can benefit like company. So a lot of time we try to marry that two needs together, and then to support the talent growth.
Thank you, Cary. I've heard of a story that some Gen Zs, right? Actually, it's a real story from a Gen Z. The company has given this Gen Z a 2 years career plan, but he just thought that 2 years is too long. 1 year is better. Have you had such kind of experience with your employees? And if you did, how would you deal with that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, yes, we do agree that we don't necessarily look at the time to get to promotion, because time can be a factor, but should not be the only factor when we are looking into our promotion philosophy. Most of the time, we actually focus on the competency. So we discuss very transparently with our talent. Okay, yes, that's good, great that you have such aspiration. You want to be promoted. At the same time, we will also share very clearly what is the expectation for the next role. We look at the competency, we look at, what kind of skills or like some of the experience that you may need to get in order to get there. And then managers actually hold a very strong accountability that the manager should support the talents in order to get there. So we discuss very transparently, like from a development plan perspective, how we are supporting you to get there. And we do have believe the model about 70-20-10, that like we believe that a lot of the time the exposure, the growth is actually come from the experience, means on the job. So on the job, how we can help the colleague to gain the exposure that they need. So we are also encouraging our team to join different kind of cross-functional projects. So instead of saying that, oh, you need to wait 2 years to get promoted to manager, but we will say, oh, if you want to learn more about data analysis, great. Join this global data project in the next 3 months. We still have structure in terms of the project. They still have deadlines, they still have KPI, but the growth really comes with the exposure. The other 20 and 10 is more about, could be external courses, training, L&D part of things. But we do believe that 70% of the effective learning actually come from on the job.
Okay, so competency is the key, right? Time is not really the real issue. Very nice. So for those who are watching us today, just feel free to put your questions or comments in the comment box. I'm sure that Cary will be more than happy to answer all your questions. Okay, so Cary, I do have another question for you here. How can organizations support sort of a portfolio careers and growth through experience without losing structure and accountability?
Yeah,
Cary,
I think structure to me, right, doesn't mean to have rigid job titles. Traditionally look at associate, senior associate, or assistant manager, that sort of title. Actually, as I mentioned just now, we try to maintain accountability through cross-functional projects, and particularly we need to have a very clear R&R for different roles to play in such a project, so that we know what to expect from these talents. And at the end of it, how we measure against it, right, the success of it. So we do think this structure, when it comes to project deliverables, when it comes to for the projects, what kind of outcome, what kind of success matrix that we have identified, it will help us to really look into the from an accountability perspective, we won't lose it. At the same time, the benefits of it is it really helps to satisfy Gen Z's desire for rapid upskilling, for the variety of experience they want to get. And at the same time, the true benefits to the company is we get a more agile workforce, because our talent understand multiple parts of the company, how it works.
Very nice. Clear R&R. I believe R&R stands for roles and responsibilities, right? And then how to measure their success matrix. And at the end of the day, you're able to put together agile workforce who is willing to take up challenges. Wow, very nice. Okay.
Correct.
Let's move on. Yeah. Agility. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, after all this, right, from a I would say commercial aspect perspective, usually our boss will ask us like, okay, what is the ROI after all doing all of this? So to us, we do think the ROI of all this is about agility. So by flipping the script on disruption, embracing the slash culture, building a lattice for growth, we aren't just being nice to Gen Z, but we are building a business that moves faster and adapts quicker. So my challenge to you all today is like look at the friction points with young talents. Like, are they the problem to be fixed, or actually they are opportunities for us to modernize our business need? Thank you.
Wow, agility is the ROI, right? So, Cary, what is the biggest challenge in this area? Like, how do you really make it as a culture whereby agility is the key? Any challenges that you have encountered?
I will say it's a huge challenge, but I think like when it comes to like when we usually talk about ROI, I think like first thing coming to our mind is always about numbers, right? Or always about matrix. So it's about how we adjust our concept on this ROI. So it's less about complex matrix. It's more about on the organizational speed and how fast we can respond to the market. Because at the end of the day, travel is a landscape that like it always shifts. And there is like different trend about travel. There is maybe there is a new popular destination popping up. So whether our workforce is flexible enough to shift their focus, shift their priorities, we strategize the whole thing. I think how fast we can make all this shift, right? This is the true agility that we are looking at, which can be our ultimate competitive advantage.
Okay. How fast they can cope with the change. Okay, very nice. So, but how do you measure the business value of flexibility, mobility, and workations?
Yeah, I think it's on a similar thoughts, to be honest. Like because we act fast, right, to the market. So what we encourage here is really that kind of entrepreneurial mindset. So although we cannot call ourselves a startup anymore because we are an organization of over 2,000 headcounts, but we do embrace that kind of startup mindset. Means like we act fast, we want to make decision fast. We don't like having 7 layers of approval, right? Like that potentially slowing us down. We want our team to be empowered. Like when they spot a trend in the market, they can add on it immediately. So and then we also keep our layers, like I would say, more flat structure, so that decision can happen at the ground level. So this is how we like look into the business value of all these like flexibility, mobility.
I see. Okay, so because throughout this workshop, right, I always hear some words like fast, speed, change,
Yes.
agility, and somehow is also your core values is something related to global mobility, workcation, and also trust. So for all these things, right, if you really have to let us know among all this, what would be the what would you describe if I'm a newcomer to your organization? How will you tell what Klook is a company as a whole?
Wow, it's a difficult question. I think yeah, I would say if I try to capture the essence of all of this, right? So I think like the keywords coming to my mind, which is part of our core values. Like we have 6 core values in Klook. I think the keywords coming to my mind is definitely push boundaries. We are a company that continuously to push boundaries. So we are not like, happily to stay in our comfort zone, because we don't think there is such a place as comfort zone, because it's such a very competitive market landscape. If you are not innovate fast enough, if you are not react fast enough, your competitors will take over your place. Yeah. So we keep like challenging ourselves, like as in what we are doing, what we are offering, how we can get better product and services, or even price for our customers, how we can provide better service for our customers, so that we do all the hustles they don't need to. So I think it also translates into our internal talent as well, because we embrace so much about the growth, about taking on new challenges. So like whether the colleague is having that true push boundaries mindset, I think is quite a critical competency or values that like for I would say to be successful at Klook is quite important values. Yeah, if I try to summarize it all of it.
Okay, understand that pushing this boundary is a kind of mindset. How do you promote this mindset in your organization?
Wow. I would say we try to exemplify in a lot of different channels, like no matter from company town hall, we like showcase what kind of like great projects or deliverables that we have, or even small wins, right? And also at different teams level, we also provide different recognition tools and channels that we also keep promoting all of our 6 core values. We have like additional not additional, I mean like we created some awards to celebrate all these kind of qualities as well. I think the idea is like how we can share more cases with our colleagues, so they understand what is the expectation from the organization. Like actually this kind of ideas, this kind of good work is something that we are really looking for. So it helps to bring us together as a one company. Yeah.
Very nice. Town halls, awards, and so on. Can you share, because we love
Yes.
hearing stories, so can you share with us some stories, examples on how your employees, right, Klookers, push the boundary in their daily work?
Oh, wow. I think a lot of the time is really about how we challenge our status quo. I think a lot of time is about this. Because like we at the end of the day, we are still a young company. Like we are like we have established a lot in the past decade, and now we are in our second decade, right? And at the same time, we don't take everything as we are practicing as the perfect one, because we know the market is evolving, the technology is evolving. There is always opportunity for us to identify what is the area that we can do it faster or easier way. So I think like having that mindset in place is very important, because like even for my team, right, people and culture team, we have more than 80 people worldwide. We also keep reviewing, as in like this is for example as simple as like this is our recruitment process for now, but like what are the like obstacle that we are facing? Is there any way that we can do it faster? Is there any way that we can do it more accurate in terms of identifying talent? And now, of course, like AI is the buzzword, right? But not just a buzzword, but I think it's definitely is playing a core part how we transform the team. So what are the opportunities that we should leverage AI to be part of this like function, from selection process like JD writing, etc., etc. So I think like having that mindset in place is helping us and also helping the team together to move forward and hopefully move faster than other players.
I see. I heard of a story about an interview. The interviewee actually is a Gen Z, okay? In that company, actually, they don't have a flexible working arrangement. I know that in Klook, you have these working arrangements. So in that interview, actually, the interviewee says that, okay, as long as I can achieve all your KPIs, can I have 2 days working from home and the rest of time in the office? So basically, the interviewee, being the Gen Z, right, is challenging the policy of the company. So do you have similar experience? I'm not saying about the working arrangement. I'm talking about the have you had ever employee challenging your company's policy, hoping that company would change it because this is what they wanted?
I don't recall exact example of it, but I think like okay, I think take for instance, right, for this kind of like hybrid work arrangement, we actually recently also conduct one more round of like market research, as in like what other market players are doing, and we also can see that like across different industry, across different markets or even region, it almost has a divided camp in terms of like how different organizations take into it. So I think the key questions to ask ourselves is like, what do we want to do when our people is in the same place? So I think a lot of time we need to overshare, over communicate that kind of context to Gen Z as well. So it's not like blindly to ask, yes, our company need like 5-day work from office. You just come in 9 to 6, that's it. Because it's not the true value, right? It's not about for us to watching you to have that presence in the office, but why we want you to join together. I think different company, they may have different purposes. But for Klook, it's all about mentoring, it's all about collaboration. Because we are a very fast growth company, and we do have a lot of like decision brainstorming we need to make, and we find it like from a efficiency point of view, we still treasure the in-person time. Having said that, from engagement perspective, we are also seeing that having more in-person connection sometimes doesn't need to be oh, what is the agenda today, let's talk full about it. It's about okay, maybe a lot about like small talk, understanding okay, like what your colleague did in the holiday, what they're experiencing in their personal life, to build that kind of like true human connections. We find it's still important. There is still values of like being in the same locations, and we try to encourage and also guide our manager how they should maximize the in-person time in the office when the team get together, so that like even to Gen Z, they also feel like it makes sense, like there is a value for them to coming back. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, as a matter of interest, right? In your current organization, what is the work arrangement policy in your organization? Does employees work from home 5 days in a week, or do you have any? What is the policy like in your current company? If you don't mind disclosing to us.
I don't mind. Our current policy is a 4+1. So 4 days in office and 1 day work from home. And how the 1 day work from home day is being organized is actually depends like by the team. So we empower the team to decide it. Some teams, they will prefer, like maybe let's have the same day, for example, Friday, that they all work from home. And some teams, they prefer like allowing more flexibility, because sometimes also depends on the job nature, like how the team collaborate. So we will still provide a bit flexibility to the team. And then at the same time, we also with that schedule in mind, we also trying to see like how we should optimize our office activity, engagement, different kind of office event. how we should organize in the office, taking that arrangement into consideration. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned, we want to really maximize like the face time that we can have in the office, by having brainstorming, team meeting discussions, that we do believe that there is still some opportunity for efficiency when we gather together.
Yeah, very true. I also heard that there are quite a number of people who have started thinking of having their employees working in the office, maybe not just maybe 5 days a week, or maybe 4 days in a week. Yeah, because they really treasure the time that they can see each other, have face-to-face discussion, and so on. Okay, so for those who are watching us, any questions for Cary? If not, then that would be, we are towards the end of the session. So Cary, any closing remarks for us?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, first of all, thank you so much, like, for really having me in this platform. I think like is like when I prepare for this topic, right? We also think about what is our current practices. Actually, we still embracing that kind of like push boundaries mindset, right? So any other opportunity that we can exemplify, like with this kind of like multi-generation workforce. And I do believe that for different organizations, there must be opportunities that they can really optimize, like with the strength of new generation, how we can really build on that to help the organization to move faster, to innovate faster. Yeah, but I are happy to if there is any other best practices from other organizations, like happy to exchange thoughts as well. Last but not the least, I also you're most welcome and encouraged to follow us on LinkedIn, as well as like our Instagram account live at Klook, so that you can find out more about what is the day-to-day life for our cookers.
Thank you, Cary. Just feel free to carry that to follow them on LinkedIn and Instagram. I can see that they have a lot of videos about the employees' activities there. I really love that. Okay, so as next week is our Chinese New Year holiday, so we won't have our session, but instead we'll continue the week after. So I would love to thank Cary again for the wonderful session, especially in sharing how the best practices that they have used in their employees, especially most of the employees are Gen Zs. Okay, so I just that's the end of the session today, and I wish everybody the best and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy New Year.